Maxwell's equations, boundary conditions, and Poynting theorem. Maxwell equations are very fundamental equations which are used to compute the electric and magnetic field in a time varying electromagnetic field systems. Since in antenna the current density, electric current density or magnetic current density, which are going to induce the electric and magnetic field at a far field or far point of interest, and hence this source current and the induced electric and magnetic fields will be in time varying form. The Maxwell equations can be used to compute the electric and magnetic field generated by the source electric current density or magnetic current density. Here the four Maxwell's equations are function of time. We normally assume that our system is time harmonic system. Why? Because we are generating the signal either in the form of sinusoidal or co-sinusoidal. Therefore, the current which we are generating by using the modulator or any carrier generator will be in sinusoidal form or time harmonic form. Therefore, the Maxwell equations here, using the phasor definitions of electromagnetic quantities, we can eliminate the factor, the time factor e raised to j omega t in the field side as well as in the current density sides. Because these currents and field are varying time harmonic manner, therefore we can eliminate these time harmonic response from the right hand and left hand side. Then the equations become in phasor form. So in phasor form, the four equations are read as del cross E equals minus j omega mu h. That means the time rate of change of magnetic field which produce the electric field, which will be the curl of E. Similarly, from Ampere's law, we can write as del cross H equals j omega epsilon E plus j. Here in the right hand side there are two terms. One term J is the conduction current density which need the conductor to support its flow, and this term j omega epsilon E is the Jt, that is the displacement current density. The displacement current density does not require any conductor to support its flow. This will be induced by the time rate of change of the electric field or electric flux density. So due to that, this current will be induced, which will be equivalent to the curl of magnetic field strength H, and del dot D equals rho V, and D equals epsilon E. Therefore, it becomes del dot E equals rho by epsilon, and del dot B equals 0, because the magnetic field will be a loop form. It is a circulation in nature. Therefore, there is no source or sink for the magnetic flux lines, and hence the del dot B equals 0, and B equals mu H. Therefore, del dot H equals 0. These are the four Maxwell's equations which are widely used in electromagnetic domain to compute the unknown field from the known current source or from the current to the field. And this final equation del dot J equals minus j omega rho is the continuity of current equations. Now, it is convenient to introduce the fictitious magnetic current density M. Actually, the magnetic current density is not existing in the physical world, and this quantity of introduction is just coming from the duality nature of the Maxwell's equations. Now in these equations, if you write the dual of these equations, we can replace the h by e and the e by h. When we replace the h by e, a negative sign will be coming. Therefore, here it will be minus del cross e equals j omega and replace the epsilon by mu. Therefore, it becomes j omega mu h plus this current is conduction current density can be replaced by magnetic current density m. So, now this equation becomes del cross E equals minus j omega mu h minus m. So, this minus I have brought it over this side, and this the duality of this equation is this one. And if you see in this case, you can see that del cross E equals minus j omega mu h alone. There is no m component present. Once you introduce the m component and because of the dual, and magnetic currents are useful as equivalent source that replace the complicated electric fields. So sometimes this concept of introducing the magnetic current density will be useful to reduce our mathematical computation load. And boundary conditions in the time harmonic form. Let us assume there are two mediums, medium 1 and medium 2. Medium 1 is characterized by epsilon 1, mu 1 and sigma 1 of a parameters, and medium 2 is characterized by epsilon 2, mu 2 and sigma 2. So, this medium is entirely different from another one, medium 2. When a electromagnetic wave passing from one medium, let us say here medium 1 to medium 2, how does it behave? That is represented by the boundary conditions. So, from the boundary conditions, n cap cross h2 minus h1 equals js. That means there is a discontinuity between the magnetic field when the field is passing from one medium to the another one medium, and here the n cap is the unit normal vector which is oriented in outward from medium 1 towards medium 2. And for electric field, E2 minus E1 cross n cap equals ms. Ms is magnetic current density. That means there is a discontinuity between the magnetic field which is equivalent to the electric current density. Similarly, the discontinuity in the electric field is represented by magnetic current density ms. When we take the cross product of n cap with this vector h2 and see the h2 is a vector, h1 also a vector, and these vectors are having three components. When we take the cross product with a normal component, and we will be getting a tangential component as a result. So, after taking the cross product with n cap, this equations becomes tangential component of magnetic field. That means h2 tangential minus h1 tangential equals js. When we bring the h1 tangential in this right hand side, then that equations can be written as h tan 2 equals h tan 1 plus js. Similarly, if we take the cross product for this case, it yields the corresponding tangential component. Then these equations can be written as E tan 2 equals E tan 1 plus ms. If one side is a PEC, perfect electric conductor, the boundary conditions become H tan equals Js and E tan equals 0. How? When, let us assume the first medium is the PEC, perfect electric conductor, whose conductivity is infinite. When the conductivity is infinite, we know that every point inside this medium will be in equipotential points. Therefore, the electric field will be 0. Since the electric field in this medium E1 is 0, the corresponding magnetic field will also become 0. Therefore, in medium 1, where these two components are the quantity of electric field and the magnetic field, the tangential component of these two field becomes 0. Therefore, we can write as the H tan equals Js and E tan equals 0 when there is no magnetic current seed is present. So, here it is very important to note that all field quantities in the boundary condition equations are evaluated at the boundary and the equations apply to each point along the boundary only. Next, Poynting theorem. Poynting theorem is used to compute the outward flow of power from a closed surface which encloses the source. So, it reads as, consider a volume V bounded by a closed surface S. The complex power Ps delivered by the source in the volume V equals the sum of the power Pd Pf which flows out of the surface S and the time average power Pt average dissipated in the volume V plus the time average stored power in the same volume. So, this power is radiated out. Let us say in the case of antenna, the antenna whose source is current density. Let us assume the current density is enclosed by a closed surface S which makes a volume V. So, the outward power flow is Pf and the time average power dissipated in the volume, that means in the form of ohmic loss. Let us say an antenna which is enclosed by a surface S, a closed surface S. The antenna can radiate the energy outward to the space and some power is getting dissipated as a ohmic loss in the conductor loss in the antenna structure itself, and some of the power that will be stored in the reactive components of the input impedance of antenna. Those power is not going to radiate out of the structure. It will be radiated, it will be dissipated for 1/4 of the cycle and the next cycle it is get inside the system. Those power we are calling as reactive power, which is represented by Wm average, that is the average stored power in the magnetic field and this is the average stored power in the electric field. And then complex power flowing out through the closed surface S is given by Pf, that is the power flow out of the closed surface enclosed by any radiator or any source, which will be half times a closed surface integral of E cross H star dot ds. The H star represents complex conjugate of the magnetic field H, and the ds is the differential area. This differential area computations will be different for the cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system and Cartesian coordinate system. This is a closed surface integral. So, this much power is going to flowing outward from the closed surface S. Note that the electric field and magnetic field are peak phases. These are not RMS. That's why, which leads to half, that is 1/2. The 1/2 has presence in this equations. The reason is the electric field and magnetic fields are peak phases. And the integrand inside the integral is defined as the Poynting vector. So, the Poynting vector is of E cross H star when the E and H are represented in peak phases. And time average dissipated power in volume V bounded by a closed surface S is given by Pt average equals half triple integral, that is volume integral of sigma E square TV. And time average stored magnetic energy is given by Wm average equals half triple integral of mu h square of dV. And time average stored electric energy is given by half times volume integral of epsilon E square dV. If the source power is not known explicitly, it can be calculated from the volume current density as the Ps equals minus half volume integral of E dot J star dV. See, in this equation, half sigma E square dV, we know that J equals sigma E. This is called a point form of Ohm's law. So, this can be represented as sigma E multiplied by E. The sigma E can be replaced by J, current density J, then the E. This is the E. Therefore, E dot J star will be derived from this expressions. Suppose if we know the source power, then we can able to compute it. Otherwise, by using the source current density, we can compute the power flow. And the dot product, and see that it is a dot product as involved. Since the dot product is involved, that means that when the electric field and the current density are in the same direction, which yields the maximum. When the electric field and the current density are in orthogonal, then there won't be no power induced or no power flow from this source J. These all are the expressions or equations can be used to compute the electric and magnetic field radiated by any radiating system or antenna from the source electric current density J and the magnetic current density M.